Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another talk uh, of of the journey to the tarot. Last week we left at we were I was talking about the court cards and. I covered. Hello, Chelsea. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much. Hello. Blocking my cat here. Oh gosh. Um. Hello, Dolores. Thank you very much for joining. Hello, Karen. Thank you for joining. Such a beautiful day here today. Very warm. Temperatures are set to go high again towards the midweek and the weekend. So hey ho, happy days. Anyway, what I was saying, last week at all, I talked about the first part of the meaning of the court cards and how the court cards reflected basically the ranks that were the ranks in the society during the dark age and how we saw a rebirth of the society in every possible way during the Renaissance, and the approach the approach that I decided to to use also with the court card is the Jungian interpretation. And by the way, next week I'm going to review Jungian theories because um, uh, to me, among the others, and mm, is the more is the more valid and the most applicable to the interpretation of the tarot as well. And as I said before, um, this knowledge that can be deepened uh, when once acquired um, comes to us. We pick up intuitively on certain things, of course, but we need to know it. Last week I covered the king, the queens, and this week I'm going uh, mm, to finish. No, actually, I got till the queens. This week we talk about the the divine the divine masculine as an archetype. We saw it could there might be some repetition, but it's worth it to repeat certain things, and because as you've seen, even moving forward and touching um, other aspects of of the tarot. There's been a repetition. I've encountered a repetition. The intertwining of with astrology, the intertwining with the Kabbalah, and the intertwining with the zodiac signs. Um, so basically, let's get started. Otherwise, I get a 5 to 9 this evening as well. As oh my gosh. Okay, uh, the mature masculine. Um, the two uh, Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. They were asked a question by um, mm, by a young man. They were asked where are the initiated men of power today. And um, mm, um, there's a book written by these two authors, and the book title is King, Warrior, Magician, Lover: Rediscovering the Archetypes of the Mature Masculine. And basically, these four archetypes um, fit the four kings, the four kings of the court card. Um, I will look into see if I can find this book. The again, the title of the book is King, Warrior, Magician, Lover: Rediscovering the Archetypes of the Mature Masculine. Um, Basically, this book clarifies, applies the concept of the archetypes not only to the court card, but also to some of the major arcana. And for example, we have the king of wands. Do you remember last week with the queens? Every queen corresponded to an archetype. Here, the king of wands is seen like the king archetype. And the king archetype has two main functions. And one is to give orders, and the other is um, mm, to nurture and uh, provide fertility. And he is responsible for the well-being of the land, and the people in his reign. Um, um, if the king becomes sick, the people in his reign will suffer. Um, um, the king has to this king has to appear before his people, and this king has um, has a self worth and self worth and value, and this self worth and value comes from him being seen by his people. And this king brings stability and balance, and has vitality, life force, and joy. Um, is a king that encourages creativity, um, and guides and nurtures others um, towards their own fulfillment. And um, and till a certain degree, these characteristics are present in all kings of the four suits. And in his negative a section, or in reverse, if you wish, um, become this king can become a tyrant. And mm, when we project um, this kind of energy towards to someone else, um, we devalue ourselves. We think of ourselves of being less. um, Hello, hi, uh, human. And we devalue ourselves. We we are we are incapable. Um, um, we are incapable of mm, being calm and stable. So um, and this archetype can be also projected into an organization. And if this happens, we kind of become codependent, because basically we lose our ability to reason, to think with our own mind, and to be independent. And the King of Cups instead the mm, is seen as the lover archetype. Um, mm, the authors of this book refers mainly, and I'm going to cover that again because I think it's important. They refer basically to Jung, obviously, to Jung's theory of of the sensation function. I don't know if you remember about the four functions I mentioned last Monday. Anyway, the recording should be on the YouTube channel. And and it has more mm, mm, you know more emotional energy. Um, it's the main characteristics of this king are, vitality, passion, and a love for life. Um, it's it's a king that's also has a sensual side a sensual side, and he's not ashamed of embrace this side. um, mm, and also it's also connected um, with everything that um, surrounds him. It's connecting. It's connected to everything that surrounds him. Sorry, on there's a primordial connection, and this is very very close to Jung's theory about our unconscious, our the unconscious part of every human being. We will see that again, by the way. Our unconscious goes back to the primordial part that everybody has in their mind. So we see this characteristic in the King of Cups. Um, mm, as I said, is connected with the environment, and um, has a passion for uh, everything that surrounds him, and the whole world. In this negative connotation on or reversed position, um, he becomes codependent. Um, mm, Becomes codependent, and uh, to material things, even from a relationship point of view. um, you know the Hello, Suzanne. Hello, thank you for joining. That trait. Hello, Nilia. I'm fine, thank you. That trait that was so ethereal, that is so ethereal in the upright position, in the reverse position becomes really very earthly. And um, as you know, as it would apply to to the Jungian theory, in the when the if the King of Cups is in reversed, he is basically dominated by the unconscious. So the cup, which is the unconscious, and this disconnected from the his feelings and the conscious part um, um, of himself. And then when we project this archetype on into um, other people, basically we don't have passion and joy. Um, the King of Swords, we have seen last week that the Queen of Swords is actually is among the others, and also the Queen of Pentacles. Mm, I was surprised a little bit of by from the interpretation of the Queen of Cups, that usually it's seen like the nurturer. But apparently, that was more a characteristic of the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords is really come across like the warrior woman. And let's see the King of Swords. It's the warrior archetype, the King of Swords, and the main characteristics of the warrior archetype are um, uh, aggressive, not aggressiveness, assertiveness, and the clarity of thinking. Um, she is very, cunning, cunning in his strategy. There's self discipline there, and development of skills, and flexibility, and awareness of death. Um, mm, and there's also devotion, loyalty. Hello, Colette. Thank you for joining. There's also loyalty and devotion to an ideal, to a goal, um, mm, which in a way makes this warrior mm, not really um, not accessible, because he is so focused on an ideal, or is so focused on a goal that makes him detached. So mm yes, not really easy to get close to. um, but he is the kind of warrior. This type of warrior is the one that has a vision, that um, you know has a vision for new things to be introduced, for new things to evolve from the old ones, and is the one that leaves behind the old to bring forward the new. And um, mm, 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 mm. And the warrior, in the this warrior in his reversed position, as um, he becomes, oh my gosh, heartless, really. um, mm, uh, Cold, and could be cruel as well, till could be also cruel. And mm, another characteristic is becoming overworking, and mm, he basically sacrifices himself you know for others, overworking to if we overthink to a family member, overworking um, mm, to sacrificing himself for the family could be seen in this way. Um, and when this archetype when this archetype is projected into others, um, we there's procrastination and basically lack of courage, and then negative thinking. So maybe thinking that something would not work even before starting doing the thing. Okay, the King of Pentacles. Um, feels seem like the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles are. The King of Pentacles is the magician, um, the magician archetype, and so the two, the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, they have slightly, you know, the Queen is really linked to the earth, and the King here, as the magician archetype, he is the one who knows the secret and sacred knowledge. Um, he really master he really master his knowledge, and has a great power. um, and I'm not talking on mm, I'm talking about um, ener- energy, so that power from that point of view, is able to, you know, master the use of energy, of his energy. And um, if we, if we consider the the pentacle in um, mm, has has a similar use, because mm, we find the king of pentacles. He heralds a sacred space. um, he's able to mm, he's able to um, mm, he's able to do and uh, and to guide processes processes of transformation. And he is aware, because of its great knowledge. He's aware of the secrets of nature, the secrets of the stars, and the weather. And mm, in in the book that I mentioned before, he's been defined like the observing ego, um, that the observing ego that controls and uh, the flow and the of energy, and emotions in the self. um, As the magician, or as we can see, an analogy could be alchemy, transforming the raw material into gold. That's what the King of Pentacles is able um, to do, manipulating energy in a way that is useful. It's useful, is empowering. Um, and it's this archetype is the archetype of thoughtfulness, of reflection, and introversion. And in his reverse, in this negative connotation, or a reversed position, um, mm, the king of pentacles becomes a manipulator. So it's not really appalling. And we find um, mm, there's a toxic um, there's a toxic behavior with him. um, there's a toxic behavior with him, and taking advantage of other people, um, to studied strategies, um, calculated strategies, and um, and then he acts like he's, you know we know we use the word victim, if you want to use the word victim, or he is the innocent, and doesn't take responsibility for what he's done, and um, you know um, becomes vague, elusive. And when this archetype is projected into others, um, uh, we don't have we feel insecure. And we don't have we are mm, we can't stand pressure in that moment. um, so quite interesting, at least for I hope you find it interesting as well. And we move forward to the child archetype, and with the child archetype sorry with the child archetype, and of course we are going to cover the last. I know that the knights are missing, but as I said last week, the writer of this book choose choose to leave the knights outside, because they are in that process of uh, development, which is in the middle. So there's not the it it can be given to them a definite, how can I say, definite characteristics. I mean, there are characteristics like they are mature to a certain extent, and they are not a page. they are not, innocent anymore. They are mature, but not mature enough to be a king. Anyway, again, Moore and Gillette talk. This is everything is based on the Jungian theory, even if it's taken from books written by other people. Like we've seen last week, like the first part was written by Jung's partner, but everything was based on Jung's theories. And these two authors, Moore and Gillette, they also talk about the boy's psychology. Um, um, and the boy's psychology, they basically it's represent represents both aspects of male and female, both of them, um, male and female consciousness that we we define today as the inner child. And more, quite often, um, this inner child um, is equated to the pages. um, and knights, um, as I've just said, they tend um, to combine um, a less they represent a less mature masculine energy. um, and Instead, the child archetypes represents playfulness and fun energy, uh, being open-minded, and being open to the world, because there's the innocence of the child, the curiosity of the child, uh, that want want to step into the world, basically. um, all all four aspects, um, anyway, has to be integrated in the self. And this is also, according to the Jung's theory. Um, mm, when this integration doesn't happen, um, or there's a regression, uh, there's when this integration doesn't happen, or there's a regression, um, there's a regression to the child child state, if it can be put in this way, can be said in this way. um mm, yes. Yeah, a childlike state. Okay, let's go through the the pages, and we'll see. Okay, the page of wands is the divine child archetype. And the divine child is godlike, but at the same time is narcissistic. uh, but also it's open, vulnerable. um, this archetype um, is more about mystery, mystery and wonder at the same time. um, there's also a lot of light and a lot of joy. um, mm, there's a lot of creativity, but because of the vulnerability there, it must be protected. And this archetype in its negative connotation or in reversed. Um, and then let's remember this covers both male and female. um, could uh, could bring out the not very nice characteristic, like being arrogant or full of pride, um, mm, or you know tired, and um, uh, and when this archetype is projected into others, we you know we feel pessimistic. um this is an interesting um interesting one. The page of cups is the Oedipal child archetype. um so um this this archetype, this child is it's all about connectedness, warmth, and affection. Um, mm, it's this archetype. It's seen. I know this here gets a little bit. Um, this archetype is seen like the child who uh, has to connect to the spiritual part of the parent. And um, um, so mm, by connecting um, to the spiritual part of his parents, he doesn't um, relate. He doesn't need um, mm, to um, it doesn't need the actual parental figure. I know it's I know it's a little bit and uh, this is a little bit tough. In the negative connotation, or in its reversed, um, the it's basically we have the child, the girl or the boy that can break break the bond with the parent. um, so it's basically codependent. And when um, when the archetype is projected into others, um, we feel neglected and unloved. Let's imagine the child, because this is really, it's applied psychology basically. Let's imagine the child uh, that um, needs constant attention, that needs constant attention and reassurance to feel, to feel loved and to feel loved. That's basically what this, and this reminds me also a little bit Freud theory, which I'm not really a fan, but you know that Jung worked with Freud for a long, long, long time. They collaborated together and they shared the same ideas till a certain point. And anyway, I digress. Sorry. Let's go to the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords, even here, is seen as the hero. We're seeing that the Queen of Swords is the warrior, the King of Swords is the warrior, and the page is the hero. So um, um, this is we find these characteristics in all, and so it's basically is a characteristic that um, this child has within with him, with her, and brings this characteristic with him or with her throughout the phases of his or her life, so till adulthood. And this child, as seen before, it's assertive, and it's courageous, and has a great, believes in himself, and is doesn't um it's not it doesn't live with fear, is not scared by challenges. um um and uh, he helps others, he goes to rescue the weakest, basically. And instead in he it's negative connotation, or in a reversed position. um I think we have seen it before. His ego become inflated, and uh we see that he becomes a bully, and and uh, and even someone who takes unnecessary risks, making um, bad, bad decisions. Um, mm, and when this archetype is projected into others, um, we you know we feel lazy, um, mm, and basically uh, um, not mm, not really, we don't see the value in ourselves, and we wait for someone to come to our rescue. um, so last last one, we have the Page of Pentacles. And I imagine that, like the key, the queen and the king, the Page of Pentacles is the precious child archetype. And this is the child that is eager to learn, and is thoughtful, um, is focused, is concentrated, um, um, has curiosity about the world around him, around her, and this curiosity that moves basically um, his her thirst for knowledge. Um, he wants to know why, and why things are the way they are. Imagine, you know, you can imagine, a child wanted who wants to know everything. They are curious, they want to learn. And it's this is basically this description. You can well think about a child, and has these characteristics basically. And then in its negative connotation, or in reversed, um, let's say, becomes bold, becomes naughty, becomes the child that knows anything, does mischief. And um, when this archetype is projected into others, uh, we become bored, and we become restless. Um, so we have covered uh, this part um, of the uh, court cards. And mm, it has been an interesting journey, to know how, uh, to find out how the playing cards, find out the playing cards origins, how, through the east, through the east of to the from the east of the world, that they arrived in Europe. And how the presence of the court card uh, basically uh, gave um, gave the inspiration to create, to add the major arcana. And how this deck became um, a deck used by the aristocracy, the aristocrats during the Renaissance, to play cards. And it's also, uh, we've also seen uh, how interesting is to know how the order of the Golden Dawn, uh, which still exist. They have only changed the name. they tried, they preserve the old traditions. They try Nowadays they try to revive them, and that this those traditions are the esoteric, the occultism, the hermetism are important traditions. And it says that they uh, they hold the secrets of the world. And it's also interesting how they wanted to pass this knowledge, pass uh, these, these secrets, if we want to, into a deck of tarot. Um, and for those who want to go um, a little bit deeper in the use of a tarot deck for a reading, we know, depending on the deck, um, um, how these traditions are there to guide us, and they have a meaning which is much more profound than uh, we imagine. Okay, and we are at the end of this evening session as well. I thank you all for. I'm really grateful, and I thank you all for joining this evening. And I'll see you next Monday. Uh, as usual, a huge thank you to Veronica and to Stace for being the admin this evening. I'll see you on Saturday. Last Saturday, I was, I didn't have the strength. Really, was really tired. But next Saturday, I'll be there for the mini readings. So thank you, everybody. Have a nice evening, and have a nice rest of the week. If you are on holiday, enjoy your holidays. If not, anyway, enjoy the heat and enjoy the sun and the nature around you. Thank you very much, and see you on Saturday.